At 5 years old, my first thought of God was, I remember I opened up the back door, a screen door, and I looked up in the sky, and it was the northern lights. And I saw it, and my first thought was, who made the sky like this? I always felt like God was with me somehow. I knew there was a God, but my mother, growing up, she had this tradition where we had to rub the Buddha's stomach. We had like a little statue. A counselor at school invited me over to his house for dinner one night. And they knew I had some struggles at home. My father was very strict and still in his mind in the military. So they were I didn't know this, but they were kind of keeping an eye on me. And so he invited me over to dinner, and I was thinking they seemed to be very happy people and very secure with their life, and I wanted that. There was his son praying. He had 2 children, and one of them was his son, and 2 daughters. They were sitting at the table. We held hands, and he said a prayer, and he thanked me for being at the table. So that right there started a deeper search for me. And my dad asked me one day, he says, "What's that around your neck?" And I said, "Oh, it's a cross." And he says, "Well, do you believe in God?" And I said, "Well, yes, I do." And he says, "Well, do you put God in front of me?" And I said, "Well, I do." And he goes, "Well, if you want to live in this household, you cannot put God in front of me. You'll have to move out. So make your choice." And I was 16 years old, and I made my choice, and I moved out. And it felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. But I wasn't afraid, because I felt that God was with me ever since I was little and searching for him. I always felt like he was with me. And so I just kept searching. So there started my Christian journey. So I went through a lot of trials, but no matter what, I felt like God was still with me. Somehow, when I look back, I think he was taking care of me still, even under those circumstances. I learned to trust. There is a verse called Proverbs 3:5-6, and it says, "Trust the Lord with all your heart, and not lean on your own understanding." And it's so true. He sees the beginning and he sees the end. And I've been in trials where I would sit there and think, how long? How long is this going to go on? And then there have been trials where I would think, this doesn't make sense. Why is it happening? It seems so unfair, unjust. And in the end, it all makes sense. There's a reason for everything. So now I do count it all joy, because I know that when I'm finished with these trials, and if I can stay on that road and not turn or sway from God, then he is going to take care of me. I don't need to worry about anything. And he wants me to lean on him. And those are the times when I find that I'm leaning on him even harder, is when I find myself at the very bottom of the pit.